Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, my mom wants to leave me the family house in her will, but I've heard it might be better for her to give it in a living trust. Which is best? So, in regards to the transfer of the home upon her death, they both will do the same thing. So, in that regard, there is no best. So, it boils down to a couple of factors: complexity, cost, speed, and privacy. So, let's deal with that. Complexity. A will is a simple legal document in which someone states the assets that they have and what their wishes are for those assets upon death. It is witnessed and notarized, and it's simple. A trust is a much more intricate document, and ownership of the asset is transferred to the will, in a living will, before death, for the benefit of a beneficiary to receive upon death. And it is more expensive, more complex, usually requires a lawyer to assist. But why the complexity? Why the difference in complexity? If there is an issue with someone challenging your mother's wishes, if she had a sibling or you have siblings or a spouse or someone else who says they have an interest in it, if she simply did a will, every will must be probated. So someone can contest the will during probate and say, I challenge this. I don't believe this is their wishes. And the court will have to decide whether to honor the will as it is or how to distribute the assets. So there's an aspect of ease of transition. So probate can take several months. If it's in a trust, the transition is instant, right? So upon death, with a living trust, it becomes instant. The beneficiary gets the property, the assets. Also, there's the issue of privacy. So because a will goes to probate and it's in the courts, it is a matter of public record. Anybody can see that you inherited the property. In a trust, it's pretty much shielded from public view. No one knows the transfer of the asset to you besides the trustor and the trustee, right? So there's the level of privacy. Like I said, speed, instantaneous versus several months. Cost of trust is more expensive in general than a will. So you have to look at your situation. It's not a question of whether one is better for the transfer of an asset, because they both equally transfer the asset. But again, it's an issue of complexity in terms of the complexity of your situation and the complexity of the document, cost, how much you're willing to pay, speed, how quickly the transfer has to happen in your mind, privacy. Oh, and another thing in a trust, which is important, again, the ownership and control is no longer your mother's once she puts it into the trust, but the trust must be administered. So there are specific rules for administering a trust. There are specific tax rules for a trust. The amount of control that she has is very limited because she no longer owns it. So that's the situation. Like I said, complexity, cost, speed, privacy. You weigh those factors, and for your specific situation, you decide which one is the best tool, because they both will equally ultimately do the same thing. So hopefully that makes it clearer for you when people are saying, oh, this one's better, that one's better, without knowing your situation. Impossible. They're trying to sell you something. So most people can simply do a will and it's fine. Some people have to do a trust, and some people just choose to do a trust just for whatever reasons. But those are the things that you should weigh in making that decision. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, but keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.